What's going on, everyone, and welcome back, my fellow pixelators. And that's right, as you can see in today's build, we're going to be building none other than this beautiful, amazingly cool, epic Armor Titan design from Attack of Titans in a Minecraft pixel art into your very own world. And as you can see, I did actually build this in a time lapse, which if you haven't checked out that video yet, I recommend checking it out because they're pretty cool videos. I mean, seeing something from going from absolutely nothing turning into an absolute masterpiece, as you can see right here, they're pretty cool to watch. So I recommend checking it out. I'm not going to say you should, but I definitely recommend you should because it's pretty cool. Anyway, regardless of that though, we are going to be building this epic design in your world today. So without further ado, shall we get started in this tutorial? So let's go and change worlds, and let's go and start this tutorial now. So then, now they're into a new world. Now we're actually getting into the tutorial part, and just before we get into the tutorial part, there's a few things we need to explain, because today's video is going to work a bit different, and I'm not actually going to be explaining how to mark out quickly the quadrant outline. Now I will give a little brief explanation for those that are new, but I want to try something a bit new today, and I think because mostly when I explain this as well, I kind of just mark out 2 and count the 2 out and then say, okay, you repeat this 6 times. So you guys are basically doing it by yourselves anyway. But obviously I'm going to be telling you how many quadrants you're going to be doing, all that sort of stuff. But before we get into that end of things, first of all, let's explain the colors. So here's a list on the screen of all the colors you're going to be needing for this build. So all you want to do is just quickly pause the video, grab all of those blocks. Once you have grabbed all those blocks, obviously you can unpause the video, which you probably already unpaused the video, and now we can actually move on to the tutorial part. So then, into the tutorial part. So first of all, the dimensions of the build. Now these dimensions might sound bigger than they actually are, and that's because that is right. These dimensions are going to be a lot bigger just than usual, because instead of marking out one quadrant by like 20, for example, this one up here, I think it's like by 18, I'm going to make all the quadrants 50 by 50. So basically it's going to make it a lot easier for you to be able to mark out those quadrants nice and quickly, instead of trying to stop and then count like another 16 going up. Obviously that is less, marking out to do, but it's not so much more that it's like, oh my god, it's like a whole hour worth more of work. Not really, no, not at all. But I think if anything as well, it does make it easier with having them all 50 by 50. But anyway, with that being said, today's build is going to be 400 pixels wide and 250 in height. So that means we're going to be having 8 50 by 50 quadrants going along to the right, and we're going to have 5 50 by 50 quadrants going up to the top, which we actually do have 5 here, which by the way, this is the Tanjiro quadrant outline, if anyone's wondering. It's not the Armored Titan one, but I just wanted to clarify that there. But I'm just kind of showing one of the outlines that we do have. Regardless of that being said though, we're going to have 5 50 by 50 quadrants outlines going up and 8 going to the right. So with that being said, for those that already know how to mark up the quadrant outline, you use the tutorials here, you kind of can just really honestly pause the video at this point, skip ahead to the Photoshop part, which will have a time where we get onto the Photoshop part right here, and again you can just pause the video, cut to that Photoshop part, do all of the quadrant outline. Once you do the quadrant outline, obviously you can continue on from that timeline of the video. With that being said, for those that are new to the channel, if you don't know how tutorials work here, I'm going to be having a video linked down below in the description explaining how my tutorials work, and just here's a quick way to how they work as well. Essentially, I'm going to be showing you my big design, split up into 50 by 50 quadrants like so, and you would start in the bottom left corner, and basically all you're going to do is basically you're going to copy that 50 by 50 grid in this quadrant, and you've got to go all the way to the right until you get to the end of the first line. Once you get done to the end of the first line, you fly back to the left, you move to the second line, repeat the same process, and keep doing that. And basically, the only thing I'm going to be explaining throughout the Photoshop part is the colors. So for example, I'm going to be telling you what each quadrant, or I guess what each color represents on Photoshop in like this quadrant, to what equivalent color it would be into Minecraft. For each quadrant, I'll be doing that for as well. So again, what's going to be happening is I'm explaining the colors, you're counting out the pixels and copying the 50 by 50 pixels, which is really easy because it makes you be able to go at your own pace, and it's just a lot of people have been enjoying this new tutorial method because it's just been so great. Anyway, with that being said though, that's kind of how the tutorial part works. Into the actual quadrant outline part. For those that don't know how to quickly mark up the quadrant, I'm just going to show you a quick example. So if I fly over to the already existing quadrant, you just fly to the bottom left corner, which I'm flying really slow for some reason. Here we go. So essentially, how we start this off, we would place one quadrant in the bottom left corner. Once you place that one kind of bookshelf in the bottom left corner, you're then going to place 49 going up, So you would place 49 going all the way up until obviously you get to 49. And once you place 49 going up, you would place 1 going to the right here. Once you place that 1 to the right, you would then zoom out and we would fly all the way back down to the bottom. So back down to this point right here. And then you would place another 49 going to the right from here. And then you would place your 1 on top. You would fly underneath by 1. You would place your 1 going to the right. You would place your 1 on top. And then you fly back down by 1, and then you place another 49 going to the right, and basically you're marking at the second quadrant then, and then you're going to keep repeating that same process again until you finally get 8 of those 50 by 50 quadrants. Once you do that, you fly back to the left, you fly back to the one that was sticking out to the right. From that one sticking out to the right, all you're going to do is fly back to the left by 1, so back to this top left corner, then you would place 1 on top, 1 to the right, fly back to the left by 1, so back to top left corner, and then place 49 going up, and again, repeat that same process until you get 5 of those done. Also, one little quick thing as well, once you do all the way go over to the right, you want to pay attention to one of your coordinates. That's either your left one or your right one, because it depends on which direction you're facing. Because I'm facing this way, so for example, if I fly left and right, as you can see, my right coordinate is moving, so that is the one I need to pay attention to. But for example, you could be facing this direction, and if I move left and right here, you can see it's my left one, so you would pay attention to your left one. Obviously, you want to make sure you're only going left and right and not up and down, because I do go up and down a bit, that's because I'm phasing over one block. But again, left and right, as you can see, is my left one moving. But for me, it is the right one because I'm facing the build, obviously, this way. So all I would have to do is pay attention to what that number is on the 850 by 50 quadrant at the end. And for example, let's just say that's 150, right? So what you would do, once you get to the top, all you would do is just go all the way along, all the way over to 150, and make sure you're standing on top of it. So make sure when you stand on top of the end block, you place all the way going over to the right, it says 150. Then all you would do is just go all the way down, and basically you should connect to the one sticking out to the right. Obviously, it only be one because that's the outer line, just like here. So again, it just would be kind of one sticking up basically right there, but on the right side. And then once you do that, it's very simple from that point on. You don't have to do any counting. All you gotta do is basically fly to all these individual 2s that's sticking up. Obviously, you don't see the whole thing. You just see the 1 and 2 sticking up all the way again on the bottom, and the same for the left side as well, sticking out to like the right. You got the 1 and 2 sticking out, and all you would basically do is fly to the left one first, and you just go all the way up until you hit the top line, fly to the right by 1, and go all the way down again to connect back to the one sticking up. And you basically repeat that same process until you find then all of them over there. And then you fly over to the left, and then you do the same thing, but obviously not up and down. You would just go all the way from here, all the way to the right until you hit the end. You fly up by 1, go all the way to the left, move up to this area, all the way to the right, fly up by 1, all the way to the left, go all the way up to this area, and again repeat that same process until you're finally done. And that's just how you quickly mark out the quadrant outline. So with that being said, guys, if you have not done that yet, pause the video and go and do that. And again, there will be videos linked down below in the description just to help you out if you ever do get confused just a bit more. Those videos will explain it just in a bit more detail for a bit longer. With that being said, once again, if you already know what's going on now, just pause the video and do that. And for those that have already done that, then we can continue on and head over to Photoshop. So then, as you can see, moving into the Photoshop part of the tutorial right here, you can see that here's just a quick look again of it, all of it kind of in the entire quadrant, which I just like to show it kind of all together. And as you can see, this is the hour timeline right here. And again, we'll be going through this quickly in its 50 by 50 quadrants, but just to give you kind of a bit of a nice look at what it looks like, just again in general. Obviously, I can show you a bit better in terms of I could take out the grid so you can kind of see a bit more nicer. It looks a lot more nicer when you don't see it in the grid format. When it's like this, it's kind of a bit jumbled, but this is the Alma Thailand in Photoshop, as you can see right here, which once again, it's looking pretty sweet if I do say so myself. With that being said though, without further ado, let's go and move over to our first quadrant and let's start this tutorial now, shall we? So then moving into the first quadrant, as you can see right here. So first of all, this lighter shade, so the lighter shade of the Armor Titan skin tone throughout this build, this is going to be jungle wood planks, which is probably one of the first times I use this block, but once again, this is going to be jungle wood planks all in here as well, and then jungle wood planks all inside this top of it here as well. And then for the really kind of lighter shade bits, so kind of like that whitish shade, this is going to be our white terracotta and inside these bits. So white terracotta in section 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is all going to be white terracotta in these areas. And for our darkest shade in area 1, 2, and 3, that is going to be our terracotta. So terracotta is going to be going in shade 1, 2, and 3. And as you guys probably already can tell and already know, yep, the outline as per usual, the black dark outline is going to be our black concrete outline, as you can see. And then with that being said as well, as you guys probably already know as well, for this build, white is going to be the background, as realistically, there's not really any white included in this design. I mean, apart from the hair, but you would tell it's a very kind of more like off-white, not like very shiny white, henceforth why we use quartz actually for the hair. But anyway, this white shade, as you can see, is background. And what does background mean? For those that don't know what background means, background basically means that nothing is going in this area in Minecraft. So basically you can completely ignore this area, as nothing is going to be filled in this area right here. With that being said, we are now going to move into quadrant 2 on line 1. So then moving into layer 2, as you can see right here, once again, they're pretty much the same colours. I will explain each colour though, but we do have a few other colours. Once again, this lighter shade right here, this is our jungle wood plank, so that's going to be in this section right here. Section 2, section 3, all in here as you can see. Section 4 above right here, and again there's section 5, and section 6 over here is going to be all jungle wood planks. And then for section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and I don't know if I counted that one, but section 8 anyway, it's going to be all our terracotta inside all of those darker shaded areas. And then for our lighter shade for section 1 and 2 right here, this is going to be our white terracotta inside these two sections right here. And then moving over to the right inside this red section, so kind of like his veiny kind of, I guess, what do you call this section really? It's like his veins, right? Because like you kind of see like the blood vessels away with the armor titans, right? I think that's kind of like the vibe they're kind of trying to give there with those pieces. But anyway, that is our pink terracotta for our lighter shade. So in section 1 and 2 is our pink terracotta. For our darker shade, that is going to be our red concrete inside these two sections. And I think a lot of people can probably understand why this time lapse took me 11 hours to build. There wasn't really a lot of black concrete outline, which again, the dark black outline, obviously, as you know, is our black concrete outline. But as you can see, there's not really much outlining to do. But that's actually kind of a lie as well, because there's not a lot of outlining to do for the black concrete outline, but there's a lot of outlining to do for the colours. Henceforth, why that time lapse took me so long. There's so much to do. But anyway, with that being said, that is everything for layer 2. So with that being said, just pause the video and fill that in. If you already had done that though, then we're going to move on to layer 3. So then moving into layer 3, once again, as you can see, this lighter shade for the skin tone is going to be our jungle wood planks in all of this section, as you can see. So all jungle wood planks going all up in here. And then for this section above, for section 2 and section 3 over here, is also going to be our jungle wood planks as well. And then once again, for our darker shade for section 1, 2, and we got section 3 going along here, section 4 over here, and I guess that's technically section 5, section 6, section 7, and section 8 right here is going to be all our terracotta in all of those darker areas. And then for section 1, 2, and 3, for our lighter white shade, that is going to be our white terracotta inside all 3 of those sections right there. And then once again, same for the red section shaded, for the lighter shade for section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to be our pink terracotta. And then for section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for our darker shade, that is going to be our red concrete. Once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 3. Once you have done that, you can then unpause the video, and we're going to move ahead into layer 4. So then moving into layer 4, as you can see once again right here, our lighter shade for the skin tone is going to be our jungle wood planks inside section 1, inside section 2 right here as you can see, in section 3, section 4 going up here, section 5 right here, and section 6 right here as well. And then once again, for our darker shade for the skin tone, once again, this is going to be our terracotta for section 1, going all up here and all around to the left, as you can see. Section 2 right here, 3, and section 4 right here as well. Once again, it's going to be all our terracotta. And then for this one section right here, as you already know, this is going to be our white terracotta inside this section right here. And then moving on again to our redder shades. Once again, for the lighter shade, this is going to be our pink terracotta in section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as you can see. And then once again, for our darker shade, for section 1, as you can see right here. And then section 2, 3, 4, and 5 is going to be our red concrete. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 4. Once you have done that, we're now going to go and move ahead into layer 5. So then moving into layer 5, as you can see, once again right here, as you can see, this lighter shade for the skin tone is going to be our jungle wood planks right here, as you can see in section 1, 2, section 3, section 4 up here, section 5 going in here, and section 6 right here as well. This is going to be all our jungle wood planks. And once again for our darker shade of the skin tone in section 1 in this giant section right here, as you can see, and section 2 right here is going to be our terracotta. And once again, same thing for the lighter white shade. This is going to be our white terracotta inside this section right here, as you can see. And then once again for our lighter red and pink shades, for the lighter pink shade for section 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's going to be our pink terracotta. And for our darker red shade for this big section right here, connecting to all these sections right here, and then our second section over here, and once again that's going to be our red concrete, as you probably already know. So once again, with that being said, just pause the video and fill in layer 5. Once you have done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 6. So then moving into layer 6, once again, same thing as per usual. Once again, this lighter shade for the skin tone is going to be all our jungle wood planks in this big section right here, for section 2 above right here. Section 3, 4, and 5, once again, is going to be all our jungle wood planks. And then for section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, for our darker shade, that's going to be our terracotta. And for our lighter white shade, for section 1 and 2, that is going to be our white terracotta inside those two sections right there. And then once again for the lighter shade of kind of the blood vessels, once again for section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that is going to be our pink terracotta in all 5 of those sections. And then once again, same thing for the darker shade for our red area for section 1, 2, as you can see, connecting to all these pieces right here, and section 3 over here is all going to be our red concrete. So once again, with that being said, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 6. Once you've done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 7. So then moving into layer 7, starting off with our jungle wood planks, as you can see for the lighter shade right here in section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9 is going to be all our jungle wood planks. So quite a lot of sections, as you can see, some of them do kind of go into the same area, and obviously all these sections are kind of combined in a way once you actually start to fill it in. But once again, all of those sections there is going to be our jungle wood planks. And then for all of our darker shades, so once again for our darker shade of terracotta in section 1 right here, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5, section 6, section 7, section 8, section 9, and section 10. And 11 right here, which I don't know if I counted this one, but once again, that is all going to be our terracotta for all of those sections right there. And then once again, we don't have actually any white terracotta for this one, but once again, for our red shades, as you can see for the lighter pink shade right here, this is going to be our pink terracotta in section 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then once again, same thing for our darker shade, that's going to be all our red concrete, as you can see in this big dark section right here. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 7, and then we're going to move into our final layer on the first line, so moving into layer 8. So then moving into layer 8, as you can see once again right here, as you can see we've got this white shade. As you already know, this is going to be our background, so you can completely ignore this area as nothing is going to be going in this area, as you can see. And once again, same thing for the dark black outline, that's going to be our black concrete, which I kind of forgot to mention for all of the other black outlined areas, but I think you guys kind of already knew that, like, a black outline is always going to be black concrete, like all the time. Like obviously there is shades, that there is different black shades in the build, but you can kind of notice those shades. But anyway, once again, all of the dark black outlines for this build obviously is all going to be black concrete. But once again, just to remind you for those other areas, I'm sure you already guys have done it in black concrete, but yes, all the outline is black concrete. With that being said, for the rest of the colors, as you already know, the lighter shade for the skin tone in section 1, this big section 2 right here, as you can see, kind of going all into here, and section 3 above right here is all going to be our jungle wood planks. Once again, the same thing for all of the darker skin tone shade for section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is going to be our terracotta. And then once again for the remaining sections for our lighter white shade for section 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's going to be our white terracotta. With that being said, now once you have done all of this, once again you just want to pause the video, fill in layer 8. Once you have filled in layer 8, obviously we are now done with the first line. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fly all the way back to the left, and we're going to move up to the second line and obviously start into layer 9. So with that being said, let's go and fly back to the left, and let's go move into layer 9 on line 2. So then moving into layer 9, as you can see right here, as you guys can see, there is a lot of background in layer 9, and as I kind of said before, it gradually starts to obviously you get to see more background and more background, because obviously this design starts on the shoulders and then it gradually kind of closes in straight kind of into the neck area, obviously where it gets thinner, just like, you know, any human and armored titan, right? You know, very human. Well, is it human shape? Well, I guess it is kind of human shape, but at the same time, they're kind of a bit of a monster as well. It's like the exoskeleton kind of a human, really, armor titans. But anyway, I think like that's how you say exoskeleton. But I'm sure people kind of understand what I mean. Without your skin on, basically, that's what an armor titan is. Weird as it is and creepy as it is, that's just what they look like. But at the same time, they're human-like monsters, I guess, in a way. But anyway. Moving on, as you can see once again in layer 9, as you can see, all of this white right here is background, and then paying attention to the bottom right corner, as you can see this black outline right here is our black concrete, and then you can see this lighter shade for skin tone is our jungle wood planks, and obviously this is the white shade, so that is our white terracotta right there, as you can see. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 9, and that's everything for layer 9. And just a quick tip for those that are new to the channel, maybe haven't done this before, I'm sure you guys are probably already getting on with this quite easily, but for those that are new, try and make sure that you count from the easiest area. Obviously, you don't want to start from the bottom left corner, count all the way over to the right. Obviously, the easiest way to do is to start counting from the very bottom right corner, because bear in mind, you've got the entire outline of the 50 by 50 quadrant marked out. You always want to start counting from the nearest point that's easiest for you, that's nearest to the building. Obviously, this starts in the bottom right corner, so it's a lot more easier to start from there. Just place your one white terracotta, then your two jungle wood planks to the left, your one black concrete, do your 3 right now, you can also do 1 on top, and obviously fill in the rest. With that being said though, once again, we're going to now go and move over into layer 10. So then moving into layer 10, as you can see right here, once again, all of this white, as you can see, is going to be our background as per usual. And then moving on into the actual design itself, as you can see, once again, the dark black outline is our black concrete. Once again, as you guys already know, the lighter shade for the skin tone is going to be our jungle wood planks, all in this area right here, as you can see. So all jungle wood planks inside here, and inside this section to the right over here as well. Once again, for our darker shade, this color right here is going to be our terracotta for section 1, 2, 3, and 4 is all going to be terracotta. And then once again, this one section right here is going to be our white terracotta in here. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 10. Once you've done layer 10, we're going to go and move ahead into layer 11. So then moving into layer 11, as you can see, once again, we do have just a bit of background on the top left corner right here. So once again, you can ignore this area, as nothing's going to be going in this area right here. And then getting onto the rest of the colors, as you can see, the lighter shade for the armored parts of the skin tone, as you can see, is all going to be our jungle wood planks, all inside this section here, as you can see, again, all in this big section. And the same for this section over to the right here, for this, our second section, once again, all jungle wood planks in here. And then once again, this dark shade right here is going to be our terracotta. So for this section, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as you can see right here, kind of going down to these areas, is all going to be our terracotta. Once again, for our white light shade for section 1 and 2, this is going to be our white terracotta in both of these sections right here. And then moving on to our red sections, as you know, the lighter shade of our red / pink shade, this is going to be our pink terracotta. So pink terracotta in section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, as you can see. And then once again, the same shade for our darker shade, for our red, that is going to be our red concrete inside this big section right here, going down into all these little bits, as you can see. And the same for this section 2 over here, once again, all red concrete, all into these little bits as well. Once again, quite a lot of outlining to do, and as you already know, the outline itself for the black concrete outline is going to be our black concrete. So once again, just want to pause the video and fill in layer 11. Once we have done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 12. So then moving into layer 12, finally, we do have a bit of a different shade now. So as you can see, starting off with our new shades, we're going to start off with the face, as you can see right here. And the face shade is a bit lighter than the actual body skin tone. And again, this shade makes the build probably one of my favorite parts. Honestly, the transition, again, as I said before, from kind of the armored, kind of darker parts of the skin tone to the face, where it's like a lot more brighter and kind of like easier to tell that's kind of like a real decent face area. The birchwood planks transition is just so good. One of my favorite parts about this design, and I'm sure a lot of you are gonna, once you build this, you're gonna see how amazing this transition looks. It looks so nice. But anyway, for the lighter shade for the skin tone, this is going to be birchwood planks in this area right here. So we're going to have birchwood planks inside area 1, inside area 2, and inside area 3, as you can see right here. And then for our other shade that's different, for our one lighter shade right here, so it looks similar to the white terracotta, it looks exactly the same, but it actually is a bit different for the skin tone once again. And this is going to be our bone block inside this section right here. So this section right here is going to be our bone block inside here, and just this section here. So just for section 1, there's going to be bone block inside here. Also, just a quick little bit of information when placing your bone block, guys. If you've never placed bone block before, make sure you're placing your bone block going up and down. Reason why I'm going to say this here is because bone block can look very different on depending on the way you place it. You do not want to place your bone block going sideways, and the reason for that being is because you will see that the pattern looks different because of the way your bone block is being placed. So once again, I just want to clarify this. Make sure every time you're placing bone block for every build, make sure it's going up and down, okay? And that's the same for every other build I do. I've used bone block for many other builds, and it's always placed going up and down. So you understand what I mean once you start placing it. But again, just make sure it's following the same pattern. So once you fill in that bone block, just double check over it just to see that it's all going up and down. And if it's just one area or two areas that's not placing the right way, obviously just delete it and then, you know, rebuild that part going upwards. Anyway, with that being said though, moving on to the rest of the colors. So same color for all of the darker skin tone shades. So this is all going to be terracotta inside section 1, 2, 3 going all into here, section 4, section 5 and 6 and 7 right here, as you can see, is all going to be our terracotta. Once again, for the more kind of, body part for the skin tone, for the lighter shade of the body part of the skin tone, so not the face. Once again, as you already know, this is going to be our jungle wood planks, all inside this section going down here, all down here, going down into here, into the section 2 and section 3 over here is going to be all our jungle wood planks. And for this one lighter shade, again, only this one lighter shade right here, this is going to be our white terracotta inside this section right here. And then once you guys already know for all of the kind of red shade, for the light red shade, pink shade, this is going to be our pink terracotta inside section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10, 11, 12, and 13. So all of those lighter areas is going to be our pink terracotta, and then same thing for the darker shade for red. Once again, all of that red is going to be our red concrete for all of these sections, as you can see right here on section 1 side right here, and section 2 kind of over here. Once again, all of our red concrete inside the darker areas. And once again, for the outline, as you guys already know, for all of the dark black outline, that is going to be our black concrete. So once again, you just want to pause the video on layer 12 and fill in layer 12. Once you have paused the video and filled in layer 12, we can now go and move ahead into layer 13. So then moving into layer 13, once again, the lighter shade for the skin tone inside section 1 right here, section 2 right here, section 3 right here, and section 4 right here is going to be our birch wood planks. So birch wood planks coming in all sides of those sections. Once again, the same shade for the darker shade for our terracotta inside section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to be our terracotta. And then for other shades, once again for the darker red shade, that is going to be our red concrete inside this section 1 right here, this big section here, and section 2 going all into these individual sections, as you can see right here. It's going to be all our red concrete. And for our lighter pink shade, this is going to be our pink terracotta inside section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as you can see. And then once again for this strip for the body part of the skin tone, once again that lighter shade right here, as you already know, is going to be our jungle wood planks. With that being said, as you already know, the dark outline is going to be our black concrete. So once again, just pause the video and fill in layer 13. Once you've done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 14. So then into layer 14, as you can see, we're getting back into our edge of the build. So you can see our background right here. So once again, this white shade right here is our background. So you completely ignore this area, as nothing is going to be going inside this section right here. Once again, for all of the lighter shade for the body part, so this is all body, this is none of the face. So all of this lighter shade, as you can see, is going to be our jungle wood planks inside these areas right here, and inside this section over to the left as well is also our jungle wood planks. Once again, for the darker brown shade for section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be our terracotta, and once again for the lighter shade for section 1, 2, and 3 is going to be our white terracotta. With that being said, as you already know, for the pink shade, for our pink shade 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9 is going to be our pink terracotta in all side of those lighter pink shades. And once again, same thing for our dark red shade for section 1, as you can see right here, going into all these individual areas, and section 2 over here going into these individual areas as well is all going to be our red concrete. And as you already know, for the dark black outline, that is going to be our black concrete. So you just want to pause the video and fill in all of layer 14. Once you have done all of layer 14, we're going to go and move ahead into layer 15. So then moving into layer 15, as you can see, once again, all of this white shade right here is going to be our background. So you can completely ignore this area right here, as nothing is going to be going inside this section right here. Once again, for the dark black outline, this is going to be our black concrete. So this is going to be our dark black concrete outline right here. And then once again, for all of the lighter shade for the body part, the skin tone right here, going all the way up here, in section right here, and this section right here is going to be our jungle wood planks. And then for all of the darker shade for the skin tone in section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is going to be our terracotta. And then for section 1, 2, and 3 for our white shade is going to be our white terracotta. So once again, you just want to pause the video, fill in all of layer 15. Once you have done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 16, our final layer for line 2. So then moving into layer 16, as you can see right here, all of this white right here is going to be our background. So once again, you can completely ignore this area right here, as nothing is going to be filled into here. And paying attention to the bottom left corner, as you can see right here, all of this dark black outline is going to be our black concrete. Once again, this lighter shade right here is going to be our jungle wood planks inside here. And then for our even lighter shade, for our white shade, once again, that is going to be our white terracotta inside this section right here. And as I already said, the dark outline is our black concrete. With that being said, once again, you just want to pause the video. Once you have done layer 16, obviously we are now done with the second line. So we're going to fly all the way back to the left and moving on to our third line into layer 17. Then I'm moving into layer 17, as you can see right here, you might have already guessed this, but yes, layer 17 is all background, so nothing is going inside layer 17. So basically, what does that mean if nothing is going inside this area? Well, that basically means you completely ignore this, and you can move straight to the right into the next layer. So ignoring layer 17 and moving into layer 18. Once again, as you can see in layer 18, it is also background, which again, you probably already saw it kind of if you paid attention to the layers, but yep, layer 18 is also background as well. So once again, you can completely ignore layer 18 and move into the right into layer 19. So then, moving into layer 19, as you can see right here, once again, all of this white shade right here is going to be our background, so you completely ignore this area, as nothing is going to be going inside this layer right here, and inside this section right here. So once again, layer 19 for section 1 and 2, this is all background, our white shade right here. Then for the actual areas that we do have finally some shading in for layer 19, as you can see right here, once again, for the body skin tone shade, this is going to be our jungle wood planks all inside here, as you can see. For our lighter shade right here, for the white shade, that is going to be our white terracotta. And for our darker shade right here, that is going to be our terracotta. And then paying attention over to the lighter pink shade, that is going to be our pink terracotta inside here. For the darker red shade in section 1 and 2, as you can see over to the right and left, is going to be our red concrete. And then all the way up to the top, as you can see, we also do have some other areas that's new, and this is part of the hair, and this light grey section right here is going to be our light grey concrete powder inside that section right there. So with that being said, as you guys already know, for the dark black outline, that is going to be our black concrete. So for all of these dark black outlined areas, that's going to be our black concrete. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 19. Once you've done layer 19, we can move ahead into layer 20. So then moving into layer 20, as you can see, we got quite a lot of detail going on here and quite a few more areas. Probably actually one of the more detailed areas in terms of actually seeing quite a lot going on. So then, starting off with our jungle wood planks, as you can see, there is 3 sections that is going to use our jungle wood planks, and inside section 1, 2, and 3 is going to be all of our jungle wood planks inside here. So you can see jungle wood planks is in the section for the ear, as it's kind of a bit darker in the ear, kind of is a bit behind obviously the character, so I wanted to make that just a bit darker. So jungle wood planks inside section 1, 2 and 3, as you can see right here. And then once again for the very darker shade, for our brown shade, once again this is all going to be terracotta inside section 1, inside section 2, inside section 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 going down here and all the way down up into here, and section 8 right here, section 9 over here, section 10 right here, section 11 right here, and section 12 right here is all going to be our terracotta, as you guys probably already knew. And then once again over to the left, starting off with kind of our pink slash red shade, for our lighter shade of pink inside here is going to be pink terracotta for section 1, 2, 3, and in section 4 right here, as you can see, and section 5, 6 and 7 right here, as you can see, is all going to be our pink terracotta. And then once again for our darker red shade, for section 1 right here, section 2 right here, section 3 right here, and section 4, 5, 6 and 7 is all going to be our red concrete. Once again, as I already said, for the face, the lighter shade for the face is a bit different. Once again, that's going to be our bone block. So bone block for section 1, 2 and 3, as you can see. Once again, just be careful with your bone block. Make sure it's always going up and down and never sideways or kind of forward, where you can see kind of the weird top bit. Again, you want to make sure it's going always up and down when placing your bone block. And then for our birch wood plank shade for the face, as you can see for section 1 and 2 right here, this big section going into here, and section 3 above here, and section 4 right here is going to be our birch wood planks for all of those sections right there. And then finally getting into another little bit of a different shade, as you can see for the eye, for our yellow section for the eye, so the outer yellow shade, this is going to be our end stone bricks. So end stone bricks for the yellow shade right here, and then for kind of the lighter slash kind of white shiny shade, this is going to be our snow block. So snow block is kind of going to be inside this yellowy slash kind of shiny area, so it kind of gives a nice shine to the eye, the snow. So snow is going to be in that lighter shade of white slash yellow there, as you can see. And then for our final section for colours, as you can see once again for our hair, this grey shade is going to be our light grey concrete powder inside this section here. And once again, you just want to make sure you're filling out the outline first. And as you guys already know, the dark black outline, which is a lot more outline here, but all of this dark black outline is going to be our black concrete. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 20. Once you've done all our layer 20, we're going to go move ahead into layer 21. So into layer 21, as you can see, we got quite a lot going on as well here. A bit less compared to layer 20, but still a lot. And into layer 20, we're going to start off with our background. So as you can see over in this bottom right corner, this white shade right here, this is our background. So nothing is going to be going inside this one section right here. And then once again, we're going to start off with our jungle wood planks. Inside this ear section right here for section 1 and 2, this is going to be our jungle wood planks inside those two sections right there. And then starting off once again for our brown shade for our terracotta for section 1 right here, section 2, section 3, 4, 5, section 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 10, 11, and section 12, section 13, and section 14 is all going to be terracotta. So once again, all of those brown areas is going to be our terracotta, which I think I named this one as well. But anyway, you guys can see which areas are going to be terracotta. And then once again, moving on to the red shade for our darker red shade, as you can see right here, is going to be our red concrete inside here, inside section 2 right here, 3 above, section 4, and once again for all these individual lines as well, you can see that's also going to be our red concrete. And then once again for our lighter shade for pink, this is going to be our pink terracotta inside here, and pink terracotta all inside these areas as well. Again, for all these individual lines is also going to be our pink terracotta as well. And then once again, that lighter shade for kind of white shade on the face. As you can see, this is going to be our bone block inside section 1 and 2 right here. And then moving on to the eye, as you already know, that dark shade for the eye, for the darker yellow shade, that is going to be our end stone bricks inside that section right there. And for our white shade in the middle of the eye, that is going to be our snow block inside the middle of the eye. And once again, as you already know, the dark outline is going to be our black concrete outline. And also, yes, we do have some hair up here as well, and that's our light grey concrete powder. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 21. Once you've done layer 21, we're going to go move ahead into layer 22. So then moving into layer 22, as you can see right here, once again we got a lot of background. Once again, all of this white shade is our background, so you can completely ignore this area, as nothing's going to be going in the rest of this area right here, as you can see. And for all of the other colors, as you can see, for our jungle wood planks, we have jungle wood planks inside section 1 right here for the ear, section 2 going over here, and section 3 right here. Once again, this light white shade for the body skin tone, this is going to be our white terracotta inside section 1 and 2 right here. And for section 1 and 2 right here for our lighter pink shade, that is going to be our pink terracotta. And for section 1 and 2 for our red, for our darker red, is going to be our red concrete. And then as you can see all the way up here, we just have a bit of terracotta right here as well. And as you guys already know, the dark black outline is going to be our crispy, lovely, beautiful black concrete outline. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 22. Once you've done layer 22, as you can probably already tell, moving into layer 23 over here. As you can see, that is all background, so nothing is actually going to layer 23, so you can completely ignore that area. And I think that's the same for layer 24. Yep, layer 24 is also all background, which basically means we are done with line 3. So that means we can fly all the way back to the left, and we're going to start into line 4, moving into layer 25. So then moving into layer 25 on line 4, as you might have already guessed, yes, it also is background once again all into layer 25. So once again, you can ignore this area and we're going to move into layer 26. And once again, same thing for layer 26, as you can see, it's all background. So once again, we completely ignore layer 26 as nothing is going to layer 26. And we're going to go and move straight ahead into layer 27. And then moving into layer 27, as you can see, we finally got a bit of area to actually mark out. We just kind of skipped 4 layers, because obviously we skipped like 2 layers to the right on the third line and now 2 on the left. But moving into layer 27, as you can see, we finally got another new color, and our white shade for the hair, as you can see, is very different. This white shade for the hair is very much so a kind of off-white shade, a bit of kind of greyish mix into it. And that off-white shade for the hair area is going to be our block of quartz. So for section 1 and 2 right here, that's going to be our block of quartz. And as you already know, the light grey section for the hair is going to be our light grey concrete powder. And as you guys already know, the dark black outline is going to be our black concrete. So once again, you just want to make sure you fill out your outline first. Once you've done that, obviously you then want to go into the colours. And then once you've done the colours, obviously that's going to be everything for layer 27. So with that being said, you just want to pause the video, fill in layer 27, and once you have done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 28. So then moving into layer 28, as you can see right here, once again, this white shade up here in the top left corner is going to be our background. And once again, for our white shade for the hair, this is going to be all our quartz or block of quartz, all for this area right here. So block of quartz for our lighter shade of the hair, and in this top left corner right here is all our block of quartz. As you already know, for our lighter grey shade, so for our light grey shade, that's going to be our light grey concrete powder inside section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Right here is going to be all our light grey concrete powder. And then we have one more other section in the hair. And for our kind of, once again, another like whiter, lighter shade for the hair, this is going to be our snow block inside section 1, 2, 3, and 4 right here. And then moving back on kind of to the face area, as you can see, this lighter shade for the face is going to be our birchwood planks inside here. Once again, for our darker shade right here, and all of this section kind of above going down is going to be our terracotta, and all these kind of bits that go up as well, again, all our terracotta. And then moving over to the right to our red slash pink shade, as you see, for our lighter pink shade, that is going to be our pink terracotta inside here. And for our darker red shade, for section 1 and kind of these 2 lines right here, is going to be our red concrete. And once again, as you already know, for the dark black outline, that's going to be our black concrete. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in all of layer 28. Once you've done all of layer 28, we're going to go and move ahead into layer 29. So then moving into layer 29, as you can see, once again right here, this section for 1 and 2 right here, for our very whiter shade, that is our background, as you probably already know. So background is right here, so again, you completely ignore this area, so as nothing is going to be going inside section 1 and 2 right here for layer 29. And as you can see, for the rest of the hair shade, as you can see, for the white shade for the hair, that is going to be our block of quartz inside this section right here, as you can see, going all down into these individual bits. And for our lighter shade for the hair, so for our white bits in the hair, that's going to be our snow block inside section 1, 2, and 3 right here. Once again, as you already know, for the light grey section for our hair, that's going to be our light grey concrete powder, all in these areas. As you can see, that's kind of all connecting on this side. Again, all light grey concrete powder inside these sections right here. And then once again, moving on to the face, as you already know, birchwood planks is going to be going in our lighter shade for the face skin tone. Once again, as you already know, for the darker shade of the skin tone, that's going to be terracotta inside here, 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 and here. And then once again, for our lighter white shade for the skin tone, that is going to be our bone block. Once again, make sure your bone block is going up and down and not sideways, because once again, I cannot explain this enough. If you place it going sideways, it will look ugly, it won't look right, so make sure your bone block is going up and down when placing it. And then for our red shade and our pink shade, once again for the lighter pink shade, that's our pink terracotta, as you can see for these areas. And same thing for the dark red shade for all those areas, that's going to be our red concrete. And as you already know, for the rest of the outline, for the dark black outline, that's going to be our black concrete outline. So once again, make sure you fill in your outline first, then do your colors. Once you've done layer 29, we can go and move ahead into layer 30. So then moving into layer 30, as you can see, once again right here, as you can see, we have a lot of background. So all of this white is our background right here. So you completely ignore this area, as nothing is going inside here. And then looking over to the left, as you can see, once again for this white shade right here, that's our block of quartz. Once again for our light grey shade, that's our light grey concrete powder. And once again for our dark black outline, that is going to be our black concrete outline, as you can see for this section right here. And that one little one sticking right there is our black concrete. And so once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 30. And as you can probably already notice that, yes, all the rest of the layers to the right of layer 30 is all going to be background. So as you can see in layer 31, it's all background, and layer 32 it's all background as well. So with that being said, that means we are done now with line 4, so we can fly all the way back over to the left, and we're going to move into line 5, which, as you probably can already guess from kind of what you've done, most of it is going to be background to the left and right, just kind of a bit in the middle. But anyway, we're going to go move all the way to the left, moving into layer 33 on our final line, line 5. So then moving to layer 33, as you can see right here, once again all layer 33 is background, which you probably already guessed. So we're going to move into layer 34, and once again all of layer 34 is background, so that means nothing's going in here as well. So once again, ignore this area, and we're going to move into layer 35. And moving into layer 35, once again, as you can see, it's all background, so you completely ignore layer 35. And we're now going to move into layer 36. And moving into layer 36, as you can see right here, once again, all of this top bit for the white shade is going to be our background, so you completely ignore this top area right here. And then for our white shade for the hair right here is going to be our block of quartz. So all of this is going to be a block of quartz, as you can see. And then once again for our dark black outline, that is going to be our black concrete outline. So once again, you just want to pause the video and fill in layer 36. Once you are done that, we're going to go move ahead into layer 37. And moving into layer 37, which I'm assuming a lot of you can probably already guess, but yes, layer 37 is our last area that we're going to be marking in some of the areas. And once again, all of this white shade right here is going to be our block of quartz. Once again, all this section above for the lighter white, obviously our background shade, nothing is going inside here, so you can completely ignore this area as nothing's going in here. And you just want to fill in your block of quartz, do your black concrete outline, and once you've done all of that, that should be your armor titan complete, because as you can see in layer 38, it's all background. Same with layer 39, all background, layer 40, and also all background. So once you have completed your armor titan, now all you want to do is just take a beautiful look at your design. Well, actually, once you do all of that, the first thing you need to do is go and destroy all those bookshelves behind your armor titan. Obviously, we don't need those anymore, and they're just going to look a bit ugly behind the build. So go and destroy all of your bookshelf outline. Once you destroyed all of that bookshelf outline, we're now going to have a nice little zoom out and have a look at our armor titan that we all built into our lovely Minecraft world. And as you can see, that's what your armor titan should be looking like right there. So once again, you want to just remove all your bookshelf outline, as again, that's no longer needed. That's just a bit of foundation to help you build it, and having a look at your beautiful design, this is what you should have built in your world. And as you can see, it's looking pretty epic. And for those that have built it, congratulations. And once again, I want to congratulate you for completing the design. Also, thank you for watching this video. It's much appreciated, and I'm glad you enjoyed it and you were able to build a pretty cool build. With that being said, guys, if you've got any suggestions, feel free to leave any down below in the comments. I am open for suggestions. I'm already working on some suggestions, and I've got many more designs to come in the future. With that being said, once again, that's going to be everything for me in today's video. If you did enjoy this build, make sure to go and subscribe if you haven't yet, because it's much appreciated. Helps a lot, and it kind of shows that this build was worth all the time I spent on it for you guys. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, it would be much appreciated if you could hit that like button, because once again, it shows that you enjoy the build. And also one final thing I do want to say as well, I haven't actually mentioned this on the channel yet, but I probably need to start mentioning this a bit more. But also, if you ever do want to support me in any extra way that would support the channel a lot, you also can become a channel member and get a bunch of cool benefits and perks. I'm not going to say you should become a channel member, obviously that is a paid subscription, so I'm not going to say you should, but if you ever do want to support me in any extra way, becoming a channel member is much appreciated, and I can't thank you enough for that, because seriously, that's going, you know, a whole nother mile, and thank you for doing that. And yes, you will get a bunch of cool benefits, obviously, for becoming a channel member. With that being said, though, that's pretty much everything for me today. And for those that are still here watching this video and watching it when it came out, I've got some exciting new videos coming up for some unboxing videos, as my hands are absolutely dying, as I built literally about 7 Billy bookcase shelves yesterday, and my hands are tingling. But anyway, I will be doing an unboxing video very soon as well, for those that are watching the channel, kind of when this build's coming out. So without further ado, guys, I will see you in the next video, and once again, peace out, enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.